So today we are going to make an avocado strawberry caprese salad. It's a really nice summer salad. There's a lot of different options that you can do with it too, so we'll talk about that. If you're with Fort Wayne Community Schools, please go ahead and type your name into the chat. That way I can get you your activity points. If you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and send me an email. It's alexandria.degitz, D-E-G-I-T-Z, at FWCS. And so send me an email with summer salad or strawberry salad, avocado salad, something to let me know that you watched this video and that you did it too. And we will go ahead and get started here. So what we're going to start with, we are actually going to make our own balsamic glaze to go with this. So a little fancy today. So we'll get started with that. I have a saucepan behind me, and I'm going to heat that on medium and pour 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar into that saucepan. With this, we are also going to toast some pecans. So if you want to preheat your oven to 350, we can do that too. So 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar going into our saucepan. We're heating that on medium. We're going to bring that to a simmer, and then we'll turn it to low and let it sit and kind of get a little glazy. And then for our pecans, it's 1/3 cup of pecans onto a sheet pan. A big sheet pan for not that many pecans, but we want them all spread out, so that's a good thing. My oven is already preheating, so we'll wait on that just a second. Those pecans will toast in the oven for about 5 minutes. They're really easy to burn. They burn pretty quickly, so we'll keep a close eye on them. But about 5 minutes, once they get fragrant, that's kind of the time to pull them out. So we'll watch that. And then our glaze, we will keep on low for about 10 minutes while it's kind of simmering and getting a little bit thicker. So that's what we're doing back here. I'm going to go ahead and stick those pecans in the oven since mine is preheated. All right, so I set my timer for 5 minutes, so that'll go off because, you know, if I didn't set my timer, I would forget. While we're waiting on that stuff, we'll go ahead and wash and cut up the fruits and veggies that are going to go into our salad. First of all, we want to wash our hands. Clean hands are good hands. So I have done that already. Our first, well, I'm going to cut up first and wash is my strawberries. So it's a cup of sliced strawberries. Now, if you don't have strawberries aren't in season, anything like that, you can substitute a variety of fruits in for these strawberries. It doesn't just have to be strawberries. So the end of the summer when peaches are in season, that would be a really good option. Any other sort of berry, raspberries, blueberries would be good as well. You could even mix up, you know, the cheese and your herbs and stuff that you put in there too, and do like pears with goat cheese or feta cheese, something like that. Goat cheese or feta cheese would be delicious with any fruit that you put in them. So, so you don't have to use the mozzarella balls that we're using today. If you have some different type of cheese, go ahead and use those too. So we will cut and slice our strawberries. We want about a cup. So I just used the last of the strawberries from a container that I had, so that should be close to a cup. Strawberries are a fruit that you really don't want to wash way ahead of time. They can go bad so fast, so it's always good to wash them right before. And like I said, with this recipe, you can sub in a variety of different fruits. Your raspberries or your blueberries are always gonna be a good option. Berries and mint. So today we're gonna put basil in, which is strawberries and fresh basil is a great combo. But berries and mint are also delicious. So if you have some fresh mint, you can use that as well. Okay. We'll measure it just to make sure, but that looks to be, yep, about a cup. So I'm going to throw that into my bowl here. I'm going to check on my pecans. It's good to get these out and stir them occasionally as well. Those are looking good. They have about a minute left. I'm going to go ahead and turn my balsamic vinegar down to low. And we'll let that just simmer for about 10 minutes or so. Like I said, we just want to see it thicken so that it makes sort of a glaze. If you don't have a ton of time and you don't want to make a glaze, you can totally do that. What we're going to do is put olive oil in this glaze on there, which is very similar to a balsamic vinaigrette. So if you want to just have a pre-made balsamic vinaigrette and put that on there, that would be just fine too. So next we'll do our cherry tomatoes. So about a cup of halved cherry tomatoes. I have the gold ones because I think they're pretty and they add nice color. So we'll rinse those off. Have these. Our 5 minutes is up for our pecans. We'll just let those hang out there until we've got all of our main stuff in. All right. So we'll throw these tomatoes in there once we've halved all of them. It's probably a little bit more than a cup, but that's okay. The more tomatoes, the better. All right. Throw those in there as well. And next, we're going to do our mozzarella balls. I like to rinse these off too, because these are packaged in liquid. So I like to rinse them off and just any extra like sodium or anything that's in there from processing, kind of rinse that off. So I'm just gonna throw that in my strainer like I did my fruits. And we're gonna have these and then put those into the bowl as well. So we'll have each one of those. And again, if you want to use a different type of cheese, you have a cheese preference, feta cheese, goat cheese, even blue cheese might be okay in this, whatever you have available. And we'll throw those in. This is also just a good topping for a regular salad. So what I'm going to do with it today is add it to like some spring mix leafy greens and with grilled chicken that I have marinating. So that's what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. It's also just a really good side to have. Like I said, you can add in some additional leafy greens. Spinach would be a really good one, or arugula. Arugula kind of has that peppery taste, which would complement everything in the salad really nicely. So you can add that stuff in. If you're wanting to make it a main dish, you can kind of do something similar to what I'm doing and add it to those spring greens and then add an extra protein. Or you can make some sort of grain, quinoa, farro would be fine, maybe some rice, and throw that in there as well. And then you add a little bit more substance to it too. So just some ideas for different ways that you can use this too. I'm gonna check our glaze here. So it's getting there. What we want it to thicken so that it is more glaze-like. We want it to be able to coat the back of a spoon if we put that spoon in there. So that's kind of what I'm watching for. We'll go ahead and add our avocado. It's one whole avocado diced. So we'll dice this guy up and throw it in. Avocado is going to add a really nice creaminess to our salad. So if you don't want to add the cheese, if you want to make it vegan, you can do that too by just removing the cheese. I mean, if you like cheese, you'll miss the cheese. But if you're not a cheese person, you won't miss it because you also get that kind of creamy consistency from the avocado too. So we'll throw this in there. All right, last half. I'll post this recipe onto our Facebook page with kind of some different ideas of how to mix it up as well. I will also include on there the different nutrition information for this salad too. All right, our avocado is in. We'll give our glaze a stir. Almost there. So the last thing we're going to, well, not the last thing, but one of the last things we're going to add into this is some fresh basil. So I just have mine from the store, but if you have a garden, this is a great way to utilize some of that basil that you have in the garden. I'm going to rinse these leaves off. We're just going to give this a rough chop and throw it into our bowl as well. So I will cut off the stems, the big stems at least. This is about 1/3 of a cup. I really like basil, so I'm going to put a little bit more than that into my recipe. So what I do to cut basil is I roll it into a little roll, and then I just slice from there. And that will go in. If you have any big pieces left, just kind of tear them apart a little bit. So you might, once your glaze gets to a really glazy point, you might start to smell that glaze a little bit. It smells pretty acidic, vinegary, but that's a good sign that it's getting to the point where we need it. So. All right, last of the basil going in. Okay, so I'll show you if you can see this. You can see our glaze is kind of sticking to the bottom of our pan a little bit. It coats that spoon when I pick it up. So that's a good sign that it's ready. I'm going to set it off to the side and let it cool. We're going to throw some salt and pepper in. So just salt and pepper to taste. And we'll add a drizzle of olive oil as well. So again, just olive oil to taste, maybe 2 tablespoons. Then we'll give this guy a stir. This makes about 4 servings. Obviously, if you add some additional greens to it, if you add some grain, you can make it stretch a little bit further. All right. I'm going to grab my pecans and we'll throw those in there. We'll give those a mix. My glaze is still a little warm, so I want to let that cool completely before I put it onto the salad, just so it doesn't super wilt the basil or anything like that. So I'm going to let that cool before I put it onto the salad, but I'll show you what we have here. So I don't know if you can see it very well. Lots of different bright, vibrant colors. That's a wonderful thing. It means you have lots of different vitamins, minerals, nutrients that our bodies need. So we always want those bright, vibrant colors. Super refreshing summer salad. So that's what we have. Like I said, I'm going to put my glaze on a little bit later once it's cooled. If you guys have questions, oh, yours looks so good, Christine. I love it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. I'm happy to answer anything. Otherwise, again, if you're with Fort Wayne Community Schools, please go ahead and type your name into the chat. If you are watching from YouTube, shoot me an email, alexandria.deggets at FWCS, and I'll get you your activity points. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a good rest of your day.